one thing that is they are asking for their sexual identity and orientation. We all know that women have been suffering from generations, but the fact is that we know that yes, women are suffering, but for them, nobody knows what it is. We all know what are characteristics of male, what are characteristics of female, but we don't know about them. This is a simple policy. This has become a simple policy of society that for keeping someone depressed, you need to keep them deprived, and that what has been done with this kind of community, that they have been deprived of education, awareness. Like, we feel it bad when we see such kind of people doing stuff at traffic signals and something like related to. We all feel bad, but we don't have anything to say about it. And then people they treat them as curse, and our culture they take highlighting their they highlight their cruelty, means by legalizing themselves, giving the name of culture. But our culture shows the concept of ardhanareshwar, which means that we are accepting. We would have been If we would have been more accepting or normal towards this gender, then we could have achieved more development in our societal context. This is what I have to say, that accommodation is the key for this generation to come into being. You know what? I read one book about homosexuality, and in that book, it was mentioned that such kind of people, after their death, now they are being pelted up with stones and they're slapped with slippers so that they cannot be born with the same gender again. So this has become the mindset of people, and this really needs to be changed. And nothing has to do. Just you have to be normal. Just accept them the way they are. Don't give them tax. Simply.
Exactly, Sakshi. And the last line that you said, that accept them the way they are, as well as accept the way you are. If with the society, so guys, it's a thing for us that let us open up. Let us not ask for somebody to judge us.
Yeah.
It's our body, it's our feeling, it's our emotions, it's our mentality.
Yeah, we need
So
to be
go with
aware
it.
of it.
Okay. So exactly. So moving forward, we have Akriti Verma as our next participant.
गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। सो जैसे कि आज हमारा टॉपिक है एलजीबीटीक्यू के लीगलाइजेशन पे बात है, तो सबसे पहले ये कहना चाहूंगी कि हमारा कोई राइट नहीं बनता कि हम किसी के लीगल या इलीगल को टैग दें ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ देयर जेंडर एंड सेक्स। ये भी कम्युनिटी है जिसका जो बर्थ हुआ है, जिसका जो बोर्न हुई है, नेचुरल और इनहेरिटेड और बायोलॉजिकल फिनोमेनन की वजह से हुई है। उसके कुछ हार्मोनल चेंजेस की वजह से, उनकी कुछ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स की वजह से हम उसको अपनी सोसाइटी से अलग नहीं फेंक सकते। हमारे देश में
It is basically an English umbrella term intended to include all the subsections of a very diverse community. It is the best one. There are many other acronyms, but it's the best one. Wow. Anyways, LGBTQI is a broad, inclusive, and work best as an umbrella term. Through the irony, is it raining our paradigm quite a bit over the last few years? India is a South Indian country, as we all know, with a large and complicated history, and a lot of different people come here from all the worlds and stayed there with their different mentalities. As a British Empire, who termed the sexual activities as the criminalized against the order of nature, argued including the homosexual sexual activities under Section 37, 377. I think you all are aware of it. Oh, so homophobia is not a Western trait. It's not a import from the evidences. It's just the introduction of Section 377, not just India, but several former British colonies. I had just heard about a book which was written by a Shakuntala Devi, great mathematician, extraordinarily published the book on the topic homosexual, the word of homosexual. It is called for decriminalization and full of complete acceptance, not tolerance, any sympathy. He just talked about the pride the Homo sapiens and the LGBTQI community wants. And in the end, I want to say that if you can't cure an LGBTQI mentality, just go, do inform, educate yourself, and participate in the march towards equal rights. Join the Pride, march, talks, and engage. And the last million of homosexuals people in India that are fighting over Section 377 of Indian Penal Code is about to differentiate between the two basic terms that are just about to respect they want, guys. They want it in and fight to recognized as a normal as well as to fight to be allowed to live and love without any kind of justification. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akansha. Very well presented facts with articles and everything related to current affairs. Also, I would just like to present a quote before you all related to the particular that let him love you and get the love from himself back. So, what the fuck in this universe matters to you all? Said by a very famous LGBTQ community person. I would not like to name, but yeah, he has mentioned the particular words that I mentioned because it has its speciality in itself. So, moving forward, we have our next candidate as
Yeah, Jagrati Ahuja.
Good
You
afternoon,
can
everyone.
unmute and speak.
Yeah,
Continue,
please
Jagrati.
go
can I
on.
speak? Yeah, thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you, Anushka. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jagriti, and I'm from BNC College. So, as we know, people around the world face violence and inequality, and sometimes torture, even execution, because of who they are and who they love, how they look, or how they live. Sexual orientation and gender identity are integral aspects of ourselves and should never lead to discrimination or abuse. Human Rights Watch works for lesbians, gay, bisexual, and transgender people's rights, and with activists representing a multiplicity of identities and issues. We document and expose worldwide, including torture, killing, execution, arrests under unjust laws, unequal treatment, censorship, medical abuses, and discrimination in health and jobs and housing, और बहुत सारी चीज़ें like domestic violence, abuse against children, and denial of family rights and recognition. So in particular, the first sorry, एक second. Yeah, sorry. In particular, the First Amendment's guarantee of the freedom of speech protects against the rights of LGBT people to speak and express themselves open in the ways consistent with their identities, and courts have increasingly applied this principle to government laws and regulations. And as we all know, in America, US, the right of freedom of speech is so significant that courts even grant it protection against applications, regulations that will infringe on these constitutional protections. और सिग्निफिकेंटली फेडरल कोर्ट्स जो थे उन्होंने भी काफ़ी कुछ प्रिंसिपल्स अप्लाई किए थे, और जो उन्होंने मतलब मिलिट्री कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अप्लाई किए थे कि जो पूरा एरिया था उनका, वहाँ पे जितने भी एलजीबीटीक्यू के मेंबर्स थे उनको जहाँ पे भी ह्यूमिलेट किया जाता था बहुत ज़्यादा, तो वो लोग उसके अगेंस्ट बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट एक्शन लेते थे। और इन 2010 a federal court struck down the military's don't ask or don't tell policy. So, holding that the military could not single out LGBT services members for advanced treatment because policy was clearly aimed that the expression of particular ideas or briefly namely, surprisingly, LGBT speech on activity, the court applied strict restrictions to the policy and held that the government could not justify a policy targeting LGBT service members. और डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ हेल्थ एंड ह्यूमन सर्विसेज ने भी इनवाइट किया था जो हेल्थ केयर वर्कर्स थे टू इम्पोज देयर रिलीजियस बिलीव्स ऑन पेशेंट्स deciding who receives care and does not, while targeting reproductive health care of women and gender affirming cases for transgender patients. The rule was that कि LGBT patients जो हैं वो chill हो सकें इस बारे में. The word chill was used there. for being open about their gender identity. The policy encourages LGBT people to hide their identities from medical professionals out of fear of being denied treatment because of their transgender status or gender expensive conduct. सो बेसिकली इतने सारी पॉलिसीज थे, काफ़ी कंट्रीज ने उनके लिए उनके कुछ फेवर में भी बनाई हैं और कुछ अगेंस्ट में भी बनाई हैं। तो जो फेवर में थी उनके मैंने नाम आपको बताए हैं। और सो बेसिकली ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि जितने भी हम पॉलिसीज इनके फेवर में जा रही हैं, उसके अंदर भी काफ़ी ऐसे लोग हैं जो उसके अगेंस्ट भी प्रोटेस्ट करते हैं। आप एक पॉलिसी के फेवर में होके आप उसके अगेंस्ट में भी रिएक्ट कर रहे हो, तो ये चीज़ बहुत गलत होती है इस टाइम पे। और दैट्स ऑल आई वांट टू से, मतलब इक्वल बिहेव करो सबके साथ।
एग्जैक्टली जागृति, एंड ऑल्सो गुड एग्जाम्पल और इंसिडेंट्स प्रेजेंटेड बाय यू कि हमारी सोसाइटी में कैसे ट्रीट किया जाता है। अगर दो जेंडर के अपोजिट जेंडर के बीच रिलेशन एक्सेप्टेड है, सो व्हाई नॉट द रिलेशन बिटवीन सेम जेंडर? आरंट दे ह्यूमंस? इंसान नहीं है वो? और जो अभी तक की सोसाइटी हमारी चलती आ रही है, उनका पर्सपेक्टिव बिल्कुल अलग है जो हम लोग आज प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं। दैट्स व्हाई वी आर प्रमोटिंग यू ऑल कि आप यहाँ आके ऐसे टॉपिक्स पे बात करो जिस पे आज तक कोई बात करना चाहता नहीं था, या जो बात करते थे वो बिल्कुल गलत थी। सो आप जिन्हें जो अपना बोल के नहीं प्रेजेंट करना चाहते, वो प्लीज अपने व्यूज चैट बॉक्स में लिखें। फॉर अस एवरी व्यू मैटर्स अ लॉट। सो moving forward, we have next candidate as Purvanshi Prajapat. Are you there, Purvanshi? Purvanshi, it's your turn. Are you present in the meeting?
I think Anushka, she's not present. Please move forward.
Okay. So moving forward, we have our next candidate, Komal Thakur.
Good afternoon to all of you. Myself Komal Thakur from Deshbandhu College. And as we all of know what is LGBTQs and what their social condition today is. But when we will see them under the context of the humanity, I will say that they are also human beings who deserve the same rights as we enjoy. When we also see in the view of development, many developed countries like USA recognized the LGBTs for some same-sex marriage and other legal rights. But these rights vary greatly by countries from countries, from legal recognition to death penalty for homosexuality, as I think in Iran. Even in our ancient India, ioni, which I use term ioni, which means heterosexuals, carries much harsher punishment. And when we see in the other traditions in the ancient Israel and in Assyrian society, have harsh law for homosexuality. By the way, in the modern and I will say liberal world, LGBT people are not enjoying natural rights, especially in African nations. There are several laws like anti-discrimination laws, anti-bullying laws, adultery laws, etc. affect LGBT peoples. But we can expect the true implementation of these laws without social acceptance. We can't. Our Indian Constitution contains fundamental rights of freedom and liberty for all Indian citizens, irrespective of any gender and community. But on the ground level, we can see the situation clearly. And as all of you, most of you are in political science students, then I will say that according to the liberal theory, a person cannot develop his personality, his career without individual liberty and justice. So at the end, I will say that for better development of nation, we have to recognize or legalize LGBT communities in the political, social, and even in the economic spheres. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Komal. Very intellectually presented your views, like with the connection of political theory, the theory of liberalism, and everything. After that, I just want to add कि at present society we see not only legalization in the world, because world was already had accepted as it is a very Western concept. But we are proud that in India also, like one of our participant mentioned that Article 377 was imposed to make it legally acceptable. So that is a way that मेरा देश बदल रहा है. तो कहीं ना कहीं ये सब चीज भी है जहां से मेरा देश बदल रहा है. So yeah, moving forward, we have our next candidate. Yeah.
बट हमें सोसाइटी को बदलने की जरूरत है, देश तो बदल जाएगा।
एग्जैक्टली पर अगर आप देखें आने वाली सोसाइटी हम ही बनाएंगे, तो वी आर द फ्यूचर, ठीक है।
Yes,
तो
yes,
वो
yes.
सोसाइटी बनाने की तैयारी, कल की तैयारी आज से हो रही है और ये डिस्कशन से हो रही है, रियल पॉलिटिक माइंड से हो रही है। सो या नेक्स्ट वी हैव दिव्या बेनीवाल।
Hello. Greetings everyone. This is Divya Beniwal this side. I find myself privileged to be a part of this vibrant conversation and discussion. So, in my opinion, one thing that is basic need of everyone is dignity, but it is something that lacks its crucial place in lives of LGBTQ community. Firstly, they have to fight a battle with themselves in accepting their identity, and then with the parents who are not even ready to accept them the way they are. Then with the society who doesn't give them the equal representation in all basic fields what they deserve. One thing that everyone needs to understand is sex is what we are born with and the gender is what we perceive ourselves with. And we are free to perceive ourselves with all that our heart feels for. There are also so many people we all know that who have this flag in their hand of supporting LGBTQ community, but deep down somewhere all they do is pretend. They pretend to be a savior, but they all are the ones discriminating them on all grounds. But why do this happen? The thing is, they know what that this community deserves to be equal, but the social norms have penetrated very badly and deeply in their heads. That knowingly it is wrong to do injustice to anyone, they are doing it at all cost. What we need as youth today is to overcome this mentality and accept everyone the way they are wholeheartedly. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Divya. First of all, the word you use, dignity, has its different impact and a very good impact. Like every dignity matters, every life matters. Gender is always not of any concern. But yet, if our society want to consider is secondary. Primary dignity and human, as a human, we are alive. सो गाइज, ये हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की खासियत है कि जितने लोग बोलते हैं हर एक पॉइंट एक दूसरे से अलग रहता है, जिससे हर एक पॉइंट निकल के आता है तो हम उस तरह से भी सोच सकते हैं. सो दिस इज द स्पेशलिटी दैट वी प्रोवाइड इन दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सो after that we have our next participant as Fifi.
Hello everyone, this is Fifi. Okay, so on this topic, what I view it as, for LGBT community, the first thing which I think that there should be is acceptance and awareness. Acceptance about what they are, not by the society but by themselves first. Then they can take the step of defending themselves, protecting their own rights in the society. And awareness about, like, generally they are just really scared to accept whoever they are. Okay, they don't want to come out in the society as the way they are. And this is what I want. I want the acceptance first, and then after that the awareness which they will be spreading in the society, which will help others to come out of their shell and raise their voice against this injustice which occurs to all of us in our, daily lives. Okay, we use these terms as gay and less in our daily lives to make fun of our friends. That too indirectly or directly affects the spiritual thing. uh, okay, so that will be it. We just make fun of them somewhere, like knowing or unknowingly, we do that. So first of all, what we need to do to make a point is, we have to change ourselves to a little bit. Then we can accept the society, because we are the who are making the society. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fifi. Guys, again, a new point of view. Like we all were talking about the society to promote LGBTQ. Fifi came out with such a splendid point that शुरुआत खुद से होती है. तो LGBTQ plus community people should themselves come and raise their voice at least for themselves, because जब तक आप खुद के लिए नहीं करोगे nobody is gonna do. So जैसे कि अभी देख सकते हैं, like we have the month of July dedicated as the Pride month in the internationally. So ये एक LGBTQ plus people के लिए एक उनका achievement था that they have been established their name in the history of the world. So amazing point of view, Fifi. Moving forward, we have our
Also,
next.
I want to
Yes.
add one more point in it, that is also the symbol of this community. That too is very beautiful and and innovative in its own way. The rainbow. It just
Incredible, yeah.
incredible. Yes,
Yeah.
it just gorgeously depict that how different individuals are, how colorful they are inside out. Thank you.
Incredible, Fifi. Like this point out was something that you have. It was a unique. कि वो जो rainbow के 7 colors है, and every color has a meaning from related to LGBTQ plus community. And अगर आप उस community में interested हो, like if you do research, ये communities बहुत सारे parts में divided है, अलग-अलग जिनके अलग-अलग नाम है, with their different and beautiful characterized flags with its own meaning. So if you go through that, na, that is a pride in itself. कि this world is so beautiful, yet some creatures are there to point out that some or the other things. So love to hear your point of views. Moving forward, we have our contestant as Deeksha Kajla. Yes, Deeksha.
Greetings everyone, this is Deeksha Kajla here once again. So I would like to point out the thing that Divya Benewal just right now mentioned, that there are certain people who are like holding the flags in their hand by saying that, okay, I'm a social media influencer and I am doing this for LGBTQ community, or there can be any celebrity or whatever. But in reality, what they're doing is deep down somewhere, they're having grudges against the same community. They're having a kind of hesitation against the same community. Whenever they hear the words which are associated with the LGBTQ plus community, they be like, okay, this is somebody who is alienated and who is sitting near me. So they make up their they make up their mind accordingly, and their behavioral changes are like very much visible in their nature. So that needs not to be there. And it, like, we are if I am sitting with a male member or a male member is sitting with me, then we behave very normally. Or even if I'm sitting with a female member, then I will be behaving very formally. But when it comes to the LGBTQ community, our behavior changes, our way of talking to them changes. That should not be there. There should not be any kind of impact. This new normal should be there, and it should be normalized in our behavior, in the way we speak, in the way we treat them. And we need not just pretend things up, but should stand with them in all the possible ways that are possible. Thank you.
A very informative point, Diksha. At least it's our duty to come out and help those. And guys, just a look towards our chat box. We have a very talented member of us, Samriti, who just I want to read that because उसने ऐसा कुछ point out किया है जो literally Indian society में बहुत है, that in Indian there are so many people who see this community as a blessing, like our elders से इनकी blessings लेना जरूरी है. And yeah, it is a very good deed, like Samriti pointed out, कि taking the blessings of the people belonging to this people, कि किसी शुभ कार्य में इनका होना अपने आप एक happiness and a positive vibe फैला देता है. So a very well pointed out point that it's not always the negligence, it's also the acceptance. So going with that, like after Deeksha, we have our next candidate as Anubhuti Mathur.